Graphing y equals mx plus b equations. Notes day 2. So today we're going to look at the equation for a straight line. That equation is, in general form, y equals mx plus b. M is always the number next to x, and that is called the slope. B is the number that is all by itself, and that is called the y-intercept. It's helpful in graphing lines because the y-intercept gives us a starting point. And remember, the y-intercept is on the y-axis. So for this equation, 5 is the b, or the y-intercept. So I can start my graph by making a point at 5 on the y-axis. Now, the slope is called the change in y over the change in x. And a triangle in math means change. So the top number of our slope is always the change in y values in our graph, and the bottom number is always the change in x. You've probably heard it also as rise over run, meaning the top number tells us how far it rises, the bottom number tells us how far it runs in the horizontal direction. The top number, you can also say, tells us to either go up or down, and the bottom number tells us to go right. So in this case, the slope is 2/3. So from my y-intercept, the top number tells me how far to go up. So since it's positive 2, I go up 2. So from my y-intercept, I count up 2 points. My run is 3, which means I'm going to go 3 to the right. So up 2 over 3. And now I can connect those 2 points with a straight line, draw arrows on both ends. You should make the line cover the whole graph, and that's my line. So this is the equation that we're going to use to graph lines. For example 2, you'll notice that the slope is negative 2/3. And even though the negative sign is in the middle of the fraction, we always put it with the top number. Of course, the y-intercept is still 5, like the equation above. So I start at 5, again. This time, since my slope is negative 2/3, that means I'm going to go down 2, right 3. Okay. So if the slope is, top number is negative, that means I'm going to go down first from my point. So I'm going to go down 2 and then over 3. Again, I'll connect those 2 points with a straight line. You should draw it to the edges of the graph and put an arrow on each end. When the slope is positive, like in this case it's positive 2/3, the line will go up from left to right. When the slope is negative, that means the line will go down from left to right. All right, here's our new equation, y equals 3x minus 5. Again, the slope is 3, the y-intercept is negative 5. So I'll start at negative 5 with a point on the y-axis. And then if the slope is not written as a fraction, you should change it to be a fraction. And if it's a number, all you do is put that number over 1. So the top number is 3, so I'm going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3. And the bottom number is 1, so I'm going to go over 1. Connect the points with arrows. That's my line. And if you want, you can put the 1 right under the 3 in the equation, if that helps. For this one, again, the slope is negative 4. That's the number next to x. And the y-intercept is 5. So I'm going to start at 5 with a dot. And then, since this isn't a fraction, I'm going to make it a fraction and put it over 1. So the top number tells me to go up or down. Since it's negative, I'm going to go down from my y-intercept. So I'm going to go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1. And I'm going to connect the 2 points with a straight line, putting arrows at each end. So the key today is our equation is y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, b is the y-intercept. Now you should go to Moodle and try the homework.